This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming up next of the Career Builder Challenge. Now to the 10th hole. Frank, sometimes steady can win the day, especially over... Let's see what she's got here. She is loading up for the big one. Well, this looks good.
Certainly is.
Frank, not overly long, but still a pretty good spot and in the fairway.
Yeah, that's in that 280 mark.
Frank, for a long time, the stadium course at PGA West was thought to be too difficult for the professionals. How'd that happen?
It wasn't really unusual. A lot of Pete Dye courses, when they first came out, with the wooden bulkheads, so visually intimidating. It was such a departure from traditional golf design that players, they weren't very receptive to it. They thought it was too punishing, and yet now we look some 20, 30 years later, Pete Dye's going to go down with the Mackenzies, the Donald Rosses, the C.B. McDonalds as one of the most innovative and one of the great architects that actually changed the direction that the game's gone.
Back in the late 1980s, the Tour Pros actually refused to go back to the stadium course. They signed a petition to get it removed as one of the host courses, a ban that effectively ran until 2015. But now the Career Builder Challenge will return to the rotation in 2016. No, that's not the way you want to start the back nine. Missed putt, bogey, and a drop shot. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Frank, they didn't have any openings at EA Sports Basketball because, I mean, this is just brutal to watch. Oh boy, this is a long par 5, the 11th at PGA West, 617 yards. Okay, the second shot now at this par 5. This is going to play a lot shorter. It is a steep hill down to the green. Frank, you hate to miss the green on a par 5 with your third shot.
Well, they say par 5s are the easiest holes to birdie, but the hardest holes to make 4. Making a 6, though, well, that certainly sets yourself backwards. So tough up and down. Another good swing. Another good approach shot.
These putts keep the round together. Man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. From about 8 feet. Frank, nothing really went the players' way this week.
Yeah, if this was motor racing, you'd say it's a case of having 4 flat tires.
Now the par 4 12th, only 363 yards, but Frank, it is intricate. There's a lot involved, isn't there, in playing a hole like this?
Yeah, I think this is where you have to work out, which clubs do you hit the best? Are you better with a 9-iron, are you better with the wedge? Because that's the distance you want to hit it to. That's how you can be aggressive, even when you're laying up.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. Early part of this second nine, a good approach shot. Now, pretty good chance for birdie.
It's no snack, though.
Well, that's a bit disappointing.
I guarantee you, though, she thought she had that one.
So just a formality here. Nothing wrong with that par putt. Frank, this is no easy shot here at the par 3 13th.
Yeah, 13th hole. I mean, it's so appropriate, the number of the hole for this this design by Pete Dye. Wooden bulkheads, I mean, they give you sort of that harsh look. And this is just an absolute scorecard wrecker. You get a little cavalier here, you just rack up a number. There's nothing wrong with just hitting it to the right side of this green, just taking a 3.
Not a huge miss, Frank, but did lose this just a little to the right.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to catch a piece of the green, though.
Birdie try up next. Pretty long putt right here. You'd be happy to get it to within 2-3 feet. That was not a very good read right there. Locked in on the read and the speed. Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Well, Frank, kind of a make-or-break hole here at the 14th, par 4, 389 yards.
Yeah, for the cavalier player, you can sort of go at this this green in a more direct line. 290 yards will take all this bunker down the right out of play. Just leave you a flick in here. I'm going to say that's not a bad play, really. If you don't do that, then you just got to thread it down the left.
And I control the spin on the golf ball. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par. Oh, that's off the beaten track. You've got 5 minutes to find it.
Frank, you always talk about it not compounding the error, but here again, another shot. And it is in.
Amazing. Amazing.
So that is the end of the second round, and unfortunately, the end of the tournament for our featured player, missing the cut.
Well, they certainly didn't hit the magic number here for the tournament. Fell below the cut line, and they just couldn't make it back. There's always next week.
EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the BioWare Classic. Getting set for all the action on what my idol Vin Scully would have said was a beautiful afternoon here in the Sunshine State. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. Getting ready at Wetlands Golf and Country Club. An interesting layout, Frank. The players are ready to go. And what are you thinking about as you get set to tee off?
Well, you're thinking about you're going to play a long golf course, sort of mid 7,000 yard range. But this is a golf course that you actually do get to hit your driver more often than not. So it's a good driving golf course. Green's relatively flat as well, but be careful if you're a little weak of heart. Look left or right, you might see the odd gator or two.
You can see why this player has been compared to a young Rory Mcllroy, featured golfer making birdie and now sitting comfortably inside that cut line. Fifth hole, and we pick up the action. Early in the round, still holding steady, even par on the day.
Yeah, it's got that feel it could go either way here. Next few holes will probably tell us which way.
That is a really good tee shot right there, Frank.
I think that tipped the 300-yard mark.
And now the second shot here at this par 5. That one is in the bunker. Anything you do differently with your setup?
Just dig my feet into the sand a little bit more, but make sure you focus on the exact spot on the ball you want to hit.
That's a disappointment right there, Frank.
Yeah, green light special, really. Come up considerably short.
Fourth shot wants to get this close. That's a well-played shot, putting the ball right on the green. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Frank, you hear it so often. This is a game of dealing with your miscues.
That's the beauty of this game of golf. It giveth and it taketh away.
On to the par 4 sixth here at the Wetlands. And Frank, how does that water factor into the way you play this hole?
It bisects this fairway beautifully, Rich. 233 yards to the run out on the first section of fairway. And that might be worth considering for the short hitters. To try and flash it across the narrowest part of those wetlands, 276 yards. And of course, the more horsepower you got, actually the easier this tee shot becomes.
Slight waggle, relaxed arms, ready to go. Way off the mark, misses the green to the right. Okay, good shot on the dance floor. Just a couple of feet. Still playing even for the day after the par. Here's another scoring opportunity, Frank. A par 5. The 7th is just a shade under 600 yards.
And it bends gently to the left, Rich. Longer hitters can obviously get home, and nothing really to be worrying about with that second shot if you can reach. The wetlands are well to the right of this hole for the second shot. But if you want to play to the 3-shotter, then that's a very safe, conservative way and really shouldn't cause you any problems whatsoever. Oh, that's got to be 300 yards, isn't it?
Second shot coming up here at the par 5. Excellent shot to within 10 feet.
Even par currently.
Frank, the good players continue to play good golf, even if they're not winning or in the top 5.
Yeah, that position's starting to look a little brighter than what it was at the beginning of the day. Now in the top 25. That's an absolute beauty.
Second shot. Good look at the green. Oh, just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much better than that all day today.
Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Second round coverage coming your way tomorrow. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. So long for now. EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the BioWare Classic. Well, here we are at the Wetlands Golf and Country Club. We're located along the St. Johns River in the Sunshine State, Florida. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. Frank, what stands out when you look at the wetlands?
The swampland, the gators, really it's a good driving golf course, Rich. Not a lot of fairway bunkers in play here at Wetlands, but if you drive the ball well here, you really can get a good score out here at Wetlands. They play the web.com here every now and again, so we've seen some good scores over the years, but always fun to be playing in Florida. Sun on your back, warm golf conditions.
Frank, when you look at great rivalries in sports, you realize that athletes need each other. Joe Frazier needed Muhammad Ali to achieve greatness, to achieve legendary status. And in golf, Tom Watson needed Jack Nicklaus to push him to another level.
and also to define an era. Without one, we couldn't think of the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s or the 2010s. You need those players to define that era. So you need competition. Competition is not without rivalry.
No complaints there. In the fairway, down there about 290 yards.
Second shot.
Third shot, looking for a good one. What a display of shot making this has been, Frank.
Oh, that incredible approach shot there. The easiest of birdies coming up.
Well, at last, a birdie. Now to the par 4 13th. Frank, what are the options here?
Well, another straight one required here, Rich. It's 450. It's not overly long in today's standard, but still, that fairway widens up where the longer hitters will actually hit. And bunkers, once again, short of a green. So as long as you can fly that second shot to at least the front of the green, then they really do not come into play.
Chance to get it close here. Frank, just a beautiful day out there today, but there are some challenges.
Yeah, those tricky winds up there, you've really got to focus on exactly how strong it is and what direction, because it's very easy to make the mistake of hitting the wrong club out here. You make a mistake with the wrong club choice, even a good swing is not going to get rewarded.
And this is looking really good. Well played here, went straight for the flagstick, and she will have a nice putt coming up. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Well, that's a bit disappointing.
I guarantee you, though, she thought she had that one.
Clean this up with a tap. Frank, it has been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey. Good par 3 here at the 14th. It's a little bit more than 200 yards, Frank.
And there's a bunker short. So you've got to fly that coming in there. And if you do miss time one, that's when that body of water to the right really comes into play. Typical Floridian golf, but high-flying, soft-landing tee shot, once again, is the goal.
Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. Well, you just can't make up ground if you don't make putts. Drop shot here at the 14th hole. So a tester from 4 feet. I don't know if that was a misread or what, Frank.